Okay, hi, welcome to Square sponsored webinar on how to engage your customers through email and marketing. My name is David Buster. I'm with the Score Bucks County chapter. And before I introduce you to our speaker, Marcia Pearson, let me just give you a little bit of info on Score itself. Some of you may not be familiar with it. We are the Bucks County chapter of the national nonprofit organization of SCORE. It's an all-volunteer organization whose mission is quite simple. We are uh, engaged in fostering and growing small businesses, and we assist entrepreneurs in their mission if they're looking to start a business. In Bucks County, we have a little over 50 volunteers from various backgrounds. Some of us are still working, some of us are retired, but all of us have extensive business experience. We address our mission of helping small businesses in two ways. We offer seminars and workshops, which are face-to-face. Obviously, we're not doing those at the moment, but we do give these webinars, and they're on all aspects of business, from starting a business to selling your business. In addition to that, you can schedule free, confidential, face-to-face mentoring with one of our experienced members. This is a valuable tool if you're looking to start a business, you have a business, and you're meeting and having some challenges, to be able to sit down and talk to someone who's has more experience and has probably been through what you're going through at the moment. Obviously, in this day and age, right now, we don't do face-to-face, but we do video, uh, FaceTime or whatever meetings. If you want to schedule a mentor, attend a seminar, or volunteer to join SCORE, we welcome volunteers. You can visit our website, which is located on the screen. And that brings me to housekeeping. Please keep in mind the entire session is being recorded, so you don't have to necessarily scramble to write down notes or etc. Once the recording is processed, each of you will receive a link via email that you can go and watch the video again and again on YouTube. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A button, and you click that, and there's where you would write questions as the webinar moves along. I look at the questions. If it's something that needs immediate answers, we'll try to get that, but usually we try to wait till the end and answer all the questions after the presentation. We may not get to all the questions, but we certainly try. So enough of me rambling on. Let's get to the reason you're here, and that's to hear Marcia Pearson make a presentation. I've known Marcia for a couple years. She is very well respected in the community, both for emailing techniques, but marketing. She has her own business, Knock Your Socks Off, which is what she usually does when she speaks. So I could go on and on about her accomplishments, but I think her presentation will speak for itself. So Marcia, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you very much. Hey, Dave and Charlie. And thank you, Bucks County Score, for hosting this. You know, some of you may not know that this was originally scheduled as a seminar, which was just at the cusp when the coronavirus pandemic was beginning to hit our area. Yeah, so we had to cancel that and decided to do this. But, you know, email marketing has become something that's even more important now with the coronavirus, because it's a great way to keep in touch with people. And I'm going to be talking about it in a slightly different way this morning than I usually talk about it, because I want it to be more modern and up to date in what we talk about. So let's get started here. Let's see if I can give it a little click here to get going. So first thing is that relationships matter. So when we talk about email marketing, we have not talked about it in terms of relationships. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today, is not just like, when do I send an email? How do I send an email? But how emails help you to build relationships and engage with people a little bit more. That personalized email marketing has become more important than ever. It's not enough that you just send out an email, but how can you personalize it to me? And almost beyond just saying, Dear Marcia, 52% of consumers don't like things that aren't personalized. Personalized emails are going to get a bigger click through, because now it's you're hitting exactly what's important to the person and making it closer to what they want to hear. And contacts who receive relevant contact spend more money and are going to tell more people about the experience that they had. One of the things I want you to think about as we go through here is picture Amazon. Now, I'll bet that a lot of you, I don't have a hand raising button like I sometimes do when I do webinars, but I'll bet that a lot of you have ordered from Amazon, and think how they begin to follow you around the minute that you look at something. You go to look at a particular style of shoe, let's say a Nike sneaker, and all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere, and they're sending you emails saying, by the way, that Nike sneaker you looked at is still available. And you're like, oh my gosh. So sometimes it's a little bit of an Uber personalization, but I think you get the point. We still want to see it. So today's agenda, what it means to personalize your emails and some of the ways that you can do that. How to add simpler personalization to an email. How to personalize based on what you know about that person and what their interests are. So introducing myself, as Dave said, I'm Marcia Pearson. My company is Market Your Socks Off. And that's my email address. Afterwards, if you have questions, you can feel free to email me anytime, marcia@marketyoursocksoff.com. I am always happy to entertain your questions or talk with anybody who has something that there's been bothering them when it comes to digital marketing. I work in all types of digital marketing, not just email. Email is one of the things I have a passion for. But I can also answer any questions you might have about Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. All right, so let's get going here. So you already have great relationships. We know that you do because you have people that you know. You have people who are already your customers. You have people who are your friends. You have people who are your relatives. Those are the people who you want to start out with. And we want to not send an impersonal email blast. So in email marketing world, to talk about an email blast is sort of taboo. So whenever somebody calls me and they say, hey, I want to send an email blast, how do I do that? Might get this little like cringy feeling, because I'm like, oh, don't call it a blast. And the reason for that is, do you like to be blasted? I hope that most of you are going, no. Okay. So if you don't like to be blasted, neither do other people. But they don't mind being marketed to. And marketing doesn't mean selling. Those are two different things. Marketing means you're leading up to the point where you're going to sell to the person. You're going to give them other information that's important to them that will help them trust you better and get to know you better and help you get to know them better. And part of what you can do when you're sending out emails to have great relationships is to do things that will help you to get to know people better. And going back to the Nike sneaker on Amazon, you did something that helped Amazon get to know you better. They think you have an interest in that because you clicked on it and you went there to look at it. They can even tell, because they're very sophisticated, how long you spent looking at that particular product. But even without that sophistication, you can still be personalized. So what does it mean to personalize your emails? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes and I'm going to share some examples of things. Okay, first would be to make it conversational. Any way that you can create a conversation with somebody and share something that might entice them to be conversational with you. Use the words you and your. So it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about you. So if I'm sending you an email, what I think doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But what you think if I'm sending you an email matters. So if I'm sending you something that doesn't matter to you, then I'm failing at what I want to do. And send emails that are timely and relevant. So if you're going to send a timely and relevant email, right now I have been getting a ton of emails where companies are trying to be touchy-feely with me. You have a distinct advantage here. As a small business, you're able to truly be touchy-feely with people, and it's honest and it's genuine. When I get an email from, let's just use as an example, I don't get one from them, but let's say Ford Motors or Toyota, I have a Toyota. Okay, it doesn't exactly ring as being true that they really care. They just really want to sell me a car if I need a car. But you have an opportunity here to share things that are more personal and seem more personal and relevant to today, and still can connect with what you do. As an example, if you were a health coach, sharing things about healthy eating, exercising with your family, those are things you can share right now that are helpful for people. So depending on what you do, you can share things that are important to you. For me, sharing about marketing, that's something I can do right now. And I can tell you that being able to connect with your audience and grow your audience, there's not a better time for it than right now, and to really care. The results of personalization. So if you're going to personalize an email, you're going to have an increase in sales. And I know that we're talking about a time now when people aren't exactly spending money. Anybody who has money is probably trying to conserve a little bit, not knowing where we'll be or how long we might be in our state of safe distancing, etc. But now is a great time to build the base of people who get to know you and understand you and your business better. Build those relationships. Now is the time to do that. Improve customer experience. Help them to get to know you a little bit better. If you have people who are working with you right now as clients, hopefully it's a good time for you to be able to spend more time with them and give them a richer experience and gain repeat business. Be what they need when they need it. Okay, couldn't be more true. Okay. So don't stalk your audience. This is a funny one, you know, because we're talking about Amazon. Sometimes they do tend to stalk us, and it's a little creepy, isn't it? When it seems like someone right away can tell that you looked at that Nike sneaker and right away they're saying, do you want this? So I have a funny story about that. We share an Amazon account in our household, as most households do. And one year, just before Christmas, my sister was looking at some bowls that had an owl motif because I like owls. And she was thinking I might like them for Christmas, but she decided they were just a little too small. Well, luckily not before Christmas, but in January, I got an email because I get the emails on our Amazon account. And the emails from Amazon said, those owl bowls you're interested in are still available. And I was like, what owl bowls? And now the truth came out that she had been looking at them. So sometimes stalking can be kind of a double-edged sword, especially in the case of Amazon because of that. That said, I do want to say that most people who do email marketing don't send enough emails. Yes, you can send a monthly email. Guess what? You almost have to be in touch with people more often, and especially if they're just getting to know you. So if someone signs up for your email list or you've added them, start them out to get to know you right away with a series of emails. That can be lessons, they can be things that go together, they can be, you know, tips. I have this guy who I get emails from. He's on tip number 27. He sends me a marketing tip every day. And that's because I just signed up with him, must be 27 days ago, because I get a tip every single day. But imagine if you can send somebody a tip every day and it's automated. So we're talking about using an automated marketing system. And oftentimes we call that drip email or drip marketing. So when you hear that, all we're talking about is marketing that's automated. Typically it's emails that just go out to people on a prescribed schedule. And typically you're going to set it up this way. They're added to the list that gets that email automated sequence. And as soon as they're added to that list, they'll get email number 1, which welcomes them and sets them up for what's to follow. I have a 30-day program that you're going to be able to follow with me that will give you a leg up on your competition right from the get-go. So if you do that, now you're cementing yourself to that audience and to that person. Now they get to know you better. Now you can begin to do those things that might begin to sell them. And I know that you're thinking, well, how do I do all this? The easiest is now, while you might be less busy, is a good time to set that up. I use a Word document and I put my emails in order. What's the first email? Welcome. Next email, what's that going to be? A tip, an idea, what? Next one, next one. However many you need. I did a series once for a fitness club, and we did one per week. And every week they got an exercise they could do at home. So one time it was for arms, next time it was for your glutes, next time was for your legs. You know, so they got a different exercise that they could do at home every week. And in each one there'd be also a little healthy eating tip. And it wasn't all just like eat an apple a day, but things that could really help people to improve their life and their health and get them on board with exercising on a regular basis. And there were 10 or 12 that went in that series. So we're not stalking them, we're simply setting them up and giving them what they need. And once you have them in your audience, you need to make sure that you reach out to them on a regular basis and don't stop. Next, if you have several items that you're selling, feature one item but not all items. There have been many studies done that if you give people too much to choose from, they won't make a choice. An example that we used was a florist that sent out 2 emails. And what they did was what's called an A/B test. And how an A/B test works is you send audience A one email and audience B another email, and you only change one thing in it. So in this case, we had the same subject line, and the body of the email, one gave them just a single bouquet that they could order. The other one gave them a choice of 3. Well, guess what? The one where they have just one choice did better. More people clicked through and purchased from that based on the one where they could make a choice of 3. Another really good example that is true is that if you have an ice cream store that has 31 flavors, we all know who that is nowadays. Okay, maybe younger folks don't, Baskin Robbins. So 31 flavors, guess what most people buy when they get there? Chocolate or vanilla, that's right. So you could have a store that just sells chocolate or vanilla, but we still want 31 flavors. So feature one item, chocolate or vanilla, but not all items, because when they get there, they can always make a different choice if they want. But most people are going to go for what you're promoting right then and there. And last thing is timing is everything. It depends on who your audience is. If you are if you have a religious congregation, it's important that you not send something out on Monday unless you're also going to send something out on Friday or Saturday that reminds people of when you'll be there, etc., and what this week's topics are, etc. Depending on the type of business you are. Now, we used to always say send emails Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at like 10, 12, or around 3, because that's when people take their coffee breaks. But that's not true for everybody anymore. And especially the way we are now, the timing might be different. So again, you could do an A/B test, that test we talked about, which splits up your audience and send half your audience an email, let's say at 10 o'clock and half at 3 o'clock, or part on Tuesday and part on Wednesday, and see which one does better. And now you might have a better idea of when to send all of your correspondence in the future. Add your contact's information. So this means just adding the information about your contact to it. So in the subject line of this, Nicole, we've added the name, is your website efficient? Okay, so we've added it right to the website heading. Dale Carnegie, my sister did Dale Carnegie's course, and I think a few people have, and it still exists, even though he's gone. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. So in the subject line, you can use the name, as you see it here. In the greeting, hello, Nicole. And in the body of the text, your last website update. So this makes an assumption that we have a custom field where we've kept track of when that person's website was updated in this case. So you could keep track of any number of custom informations about your client. I have a client that does chimney repair, sidewalk repair, and basement waterproofing. So they can easily say, we waterproofed your basement on May 24th. Your 1-year anniversary is coming up for your free inspection, something like that. All right? People are all different. So you're always going to be learning from your audience. If we look at these 3 pictures and we see people biking, they all bike differently. The guy in the middle, likely more of a BMX biker or a high-level biker. The girl over on the left, more likely just someone who likes to go out and travel on trails. You can see perhaps mountain bikers based on the style of bike over on the right. So because of that, we need to create specials and promotions that go with what that person does. A cycling club members list. This is a good opportunity also for you to start a Facebook group. So if we look at bicycling, I have a client that is a bicycle shop, and though they sell bikes to everybody, they have a special Facebook group only for people who do what's called BMX biking. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds hardcore, and I don't do it. So if you talk about people who have a particular interest, you're going to have a lot more success if you can zero in on that particular interest and send that group. So in this case, we also want to send emails specifically with regard to what's going on with BMX biking to that group. If you know somebody has a family and they're family bikers, you'll want to send them things having to do with that. And then you'll also send them occasional news and updates. And that's that plain monthly email that talks about things that you have going on in your business. So now we're talking about segmenting your list, looking at what people do. And when we segment your list, it's the same thing as segmenting your group in Facebook that we just talked about. So we're going to look at ways to segment based on demographic, what I just talked about, people who have a family versus people who don't. Location, if you're working across the country, you might be doing, let's say, speaking engagements, and you might want to know what city or state people are in so you can promote to them when you're in their area. Or behaviors. Did they click on something in your email? We're going to talk about that in just a few seconds. Or do they have a particular purchase history with you? So here's how click segmentation works. So first of all, you need to have an email marketing program that does this. So your email service providers, every one of them is different. If you use MailChimp, they don't have a way to segment lists based on where someone clicks. And if you work with Infusionsoft or Constant Contact, they do, as do many of the others where you pay a little something for your email marketing. So I do recommend that rather than going with a free option, which may not give you the things you need, that you look for other email service providers that give you what you do need in order to personalize things and engage people more. So in this case, we're talking about segmentation based on a click. So we look at the little find out more button in the middle of this email. And if someone clicks on it, this is from Constant Contact, I admit it, but you can also insert a link if you're working with others. You're going to put the text to display and where the link goes. And in this case, you're going to click that little box that says Enable Click Segmentation. And you're going to create a list, in this case, Cycling Club Prospects. And you're going to click Insert. So now when someone clicks on that link, they're going to get added to that list. Now you know it's someone who has a particular interest in that, even if they didn't sign up for the club when they clicked through to the link. So once they click on the link, they're taken to the web page where they can join the cycling club in this case. Okay, even if they don't join now, by clicking on the link, we know they had an interest in it. So if they had an interest in it, what does that mean? We might want to remind them of it if the cycling club is doing it at an event or something like that, but you might not want to remind your whole list who might not have an interest. And then they're added to the list, cycling club prospects, behind the scenes. So they don't see that list, but you see it and you know who's in that list. So by using click segmentation, you're letting people select where they want to, what they have an interest in. So this would be an example of 3 email lists. They either clicked on the list Bikram Yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, or Hatha Yoga, and now you know what their interest might have been depending on which one of those buttons they clicked on. You can also use the update profile form. You'll see here that we have updating their email is important, but by getting their birth date, you might be able to send them something special on their birthday. And sometimes we just want to ask for their birth month. And that can be a custom field that you can create. And now you have an opportunity for them to choose special lists. So you might have a special list for offers and promotions, or for tips and resources, which give them an opportunity to decide what's important to them. Let's see here, the birthday. So the update profile is typically right at the very bottom, and they can just choose to update their profile right there. You can also use a survey, and when you ask for certain questions, it brings them to a list. So in the second question here, how often do you prefer to volunteer? And now if they've chosen once a month, weekly or daily, you can choose to add them to a list based on what they've clicked on. Okay, so personalizing emails. Then timely, relevant content using an autoresponder. Okay, we talked about autoresponders. Autoresponders are emails that go out automatically. You don't have to do it. And we prefer for them to be what's called evergreen. And when we talk about evergreen, what we mean by that is emails that you don't have to change. So you don't want it to be Christmas oriented or July 4th oriented or something like that. You want it to be something that's good all the time so you don't have to change it all the time. So no matter who it is, once they click the first one and they sign up today, now they can join our next meetup. You don't need to know when it is. You can just send them to your calendar, which shows when all your meetups are, and join the cycling club. Using information to make them feel special. So here's a nice one. Happy birthdays. Enjoy some money off on your next visit for your birthday. So that's a nice reason for collecting birthday information or anniversary information. Okay. Membership renewal. So if you have in the database, you've put in there custom-wise when their anniversary is with your business, you can say it's time to renew your membership. Great for nonprofits. So if you're a nonprofit and you keep members, and you can put in there when their membership needs renewal. Sorry, I have my dog behind me and I heard him make a noise. All right, so a couple things there. So in recapping just a little bit, personalizing your email helps build relationships and helps people to trust you, understand you, and know you better, which is the whole reason for sending out emails in the first place. Starting with their name, but also including things like their birth date, if they have a date that they joined your organization, if they have an anniversary date, a date when you perhaps did work for them that would be one-time work. As an example, the person who does basement waterproofing, being able at the 1-year anniversary of having done that to say, hey, we're going to give you a free checkup. It gives them an opportunity to come out and see me again. And by the way, let me know that they also do sidewalks and that they do chimney repair, just as an example. But they do other things. So now you have a resell or an upsell. And also by providing a free inspection, now people are going to say, they're going to tell their friends, hey, they give me a free inspection too. And segment your list to send personalized content by using your button to segment. Now we know exactly what's important to people. Another example I use for that is I work with a nature center, and they have people who are interested in birding, but they also have people interested in butterflies. So if they have a special butterfly event coming up, if they've been sending out emails in the past that talked about butterfly movies, butterfly webinars, butterfly events, now they've segmented me to know that that's something that's important to me. They can hit me a little bit more often with that type of information. All right, so that's me. This is my information again. And I'm pretty sure we must have some questions. So I'm going to hop over to Dave. And Dave, can I leave this on the screen and you can still do the questions, or are you still there, Dave?
Yes, no, I had to unmute. I didn't want background noise. Sure, you leave it on the screen. So far, we don't have any questions, which is a testament to your presentation. If you have questions, please write them and submit them.
Sometimes when I do webinars, actually almost all the time, people have questions afterwards.
Yes.
So you can reach out to me. You can also reach out to the Bucks County SCORE, buckscounty.score.org,
Yes.
and set up a mentor session there. You can give me a call or reach out to me anytime that you want. You can go to my website, marketyoursocksoff.com is also my website, and connect with me that way.
There is a couple. One is from Michelle. What is the pricing like for email companies you mentioned, like Constant Contact?
Constant Contact, along with many, many email service providers, generally charge about $20 for 500 contacts. That said, oftentimes if you want to also include drip marketing, it's going to be slightly more. I think it's $34. But I will tell you that it's worth it if you want to begin to really engage people with email marketing. If you don't engage people up front when they first are added to your list, you're really missing an opportunity to really get them to know you better and to trust you more. Because it's not just know, like, and trust. I mean, they really have to get to know you. There's a lot of noise out there nowadays. And it's interesting that there was a study done amongst larger businesses that would be like the Nikes, IBMs, Microsofts, and whatever you have it of the world. And many of them, when someone signs up, don't even send a welcome email. So this is your opportunity to really shine and welcome people to you, get them to know you and understand how you work with people and what you do, and what you bring to the table in terms of what they want, because you have something they wanted. That's why they connected with you. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Another question is, do you give workshops specifically about constant contact?
I can, yes. And when someone is using Constant Contact, if they sign up through, I have a link. If you go to my website, marketyoursocksoff.com/constant contact, and sign up through that link for Constant Contact, now you'll be in my partner program. Then you just reach out to me, and I provide services to you for free, including setting it all up for you, helping you with your contact, uploading your contacts, setting up a theme to match your website, giving you some initial training. So, but that's my job. I mean, if I'm a partner with them, and if you're interested in using it, I want to make sure that you have success. I mean, that's
good.
That's my selfish plug right there.
Okay.
But I want people to have success. If you're going to do it, I want you to be able to do it the right way.
From Michael, my business is B2B. Most are one-time sales. How can I use this information?
Ooh, that's very interesting. It depends on what your one-time sale is. I've had people who sell things that are very industry specific. As an example, a valve that goes into an artificial heart. If that's industry specific, it's going to be hard to use email marketing to market what you have. You may be able to use LinkedIn to begin to connect with people. And incidentally, even though it's not email marketing related, can I share something LinkedIn wise, Dave?
Of course.
So LinkedIn wise, what I would do if I were that person would be to begin to use the audience you're connected with on LinkedIn, or connect with other people. Send them an instant message once you've connected with them, and offer to get together for a virtual cup of coffee. You can either talk to them on the phone or schedule a Zoom session, much like this one, and just get to know people, especially people who might buy your product. Because if it's someone who might buy it, and if it's got a wide enough audience that they're going to buy the widget and they could tell someone else to buy the widget, then now you've got something going. Also now's a good time to join groups in LinkedIn where you might find people who'd be interested in purchasing your product, or being a cross-referencer. That is someone who might be, you can share about their product and they can share about yours with their audience. Hope that helps.
Yes. And the final one is the best kind of question of all. Mike says, no. He said you did a great job. I have no questions, as I would like to absorb all the great information.
Thank you very much, Mike. And I just want to remind everybody what Dave said at the beginning. We recorded the session, so you're going to get a link to the recording, but give it a day or two because we have to download it, then upload it to YouTube and all that stuff. And I am very grateful to all of you for coming and for wanting to make your business better.
One last question just popped in.
Okay.
When you are first, this is from Catherine, when you're first launching your business, what type of content should you focus on? Focus on providing first with email marketing. So someone has just launched their business. What do I start?
It may depend a little bit on what you're selling or what your service that you're providing is. If you want to look at what your brand is and what your audience is. Now, a lot of times people say, my audience is everybody. Everybody can use what I do. And that's true. Everybody can use what I do as well. But if you can look at just one segment, just to get started, you might have more success because now you can focus. A really good example would be a chiropractor who can, obviously anybody go to a chiropractor who has a need, sore back or whatever. But if they focus on, let's say people who only have sciatica or only have fibromyalgia, now they can focus on that audience. And it doesn't mean other people won't come along, but now they're going to build an audience based on that. And how you make that choice of who to focus on is one of two things. Where you find the easiest pickings, I look at someone picking up fruit off a tree, where's the lowest hanging fruit? And also, what do you like most? So in the case of our chiropractor, if he doesn't like working with people who are just complaining about their back, maybe he wants to look at people who have a specific need that could also be kind of medically connected, like let's take sciatica as an example. So hope that helps.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Marcia. As usual, you did a great job. We appreciate your time and contribution. And, oh, wait, what?
Oh, thank you.
No, that was a thank you. That's a thank you. Well, we'll take those as well. Thank you, Marcia from Bruce.
And thank you, Dave. And if anybody needs
Yeah.
anything, they know how to reach me.
Yes. Okay, and with that, again, you will get a link so that you can watch this again, if you know, or as many times as you want. And with that, we will end the meeting. So it ends pretty abruptly. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.